Tonight, the National Security Minister addresses rumors surrounding a possible outbreak of COVID-19 at Bordelais Correctional Facility. Rosalie MP Leonard Montoute assures his distressed constituents that immediate measures will be taken to address their complaints about ongoing roadworks. And churches weigh in on the decriminalization of cannabis, with the Anglican Church noting that it is not opposed to decriminalization, while the Pentecostal Church urges the government to reconsider decriminalization and legalization. The details are coming up.
This is the Hot 7 Nightly News with Loveless and Amy Joseph.
Good night. It is Wednesday, the 5th of August, 2020. Welcome to the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. We're on Flow, Channel 117, KISS FM, the Caribbean Hot FM mobile app, and our Caribbean Hot 7 TV Facebook page. I am lovely St. Amy Joseph. Thank you for joining us. Minister for National Security, Herman Gil-Francis, is categorically denying reports of a possible outbreak of COVID-19 at the Bordelais Correctional Facility. He says inmates who have complained of feeling unwell have been taken to the respiratory hospital for testing. Results so far have been negative. The minister says a close eye is being kept on the situation because, according to him, some inmates are very cunning and can use situations to gain leverage for sinister plans. Genevieve Gonzague tells us more in this report.
Rumors of an outbreak of COVID-19 at the Bordelais Correctional Facility have sent some prisoners into a frenzy, resulting in damage to resources at the facility. National Security Minister Herman Gil-Francis has rubbished the claims of a COVID-19 outbreak and says the facility is simply being cautious and following protocol by testing inmates who claim they are unwell.
My information is that at least 10 prisoners who indicated they were not feeling well were rightly referred to the Victoria Hospital by the nurses at Bordelais. Unfortunately, some of our reporting in the press leaves a lot to be desired. And as such, persons go on the radio and use the radio sometimes to sensationalize things. And that caused a panic among some of the the prisoners. So much so that a section of the prison was set afire with the mattresses. They actually burned some mattresses, and the police were called in yesterday.
Francis says all tests have produced negative results and every necessary measure is being taken to ensure the rights of inmates are not violated.
And my information is that the 10 persons were already sent to the respiratory hospital. They were tested and all the results have come back negative. This morning, another 2 were saying that they were showing signs of symptoms. Again, the nurses did the correct thing by referring them to VH. So presently they're there and they're doing the tests, so we're waiting the results for those 2. It is the right of the prisoners, if they're not feeling well and the COVID issue is in the air, that they have a right to be tested. And that is what we are doing to make sure that all their fundamental rights and privileges are preserved.
He, however, indicated that inmates can be very cunning and therefore those being tested are being kept under close watch.
But we must also be very careful with prisoners. Prisoners are very innovative individuals, and we may suspect, it may be the intention of them to try and do this on a regular basis, and eventually who wants to get away will try to escape when they go to the thing. So the police, the Bordelais facility managers, and the ministry has to be very careful how we do it. But I'm not saying that this is the case. They have genuine symptoms. The nurses have made the prognosis and have decided that they should go to the VH. So far, we have been able to contain and be able to handle it.
He explains that there are always prison guards with the inmates at the hospital, and in the event that the inmate is a high-profile one, the assistance of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force is sought. Francis assured that the BCF has in place a structured procedure for people visiting their loved ones as instructed by health officials, which includes temperature screening, sanitizing of hands, and wearing of masks. A section of the facility has also been designated as a quarantine zone. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Genevieve Gonzague.
Rosalie MP Leonard Montoute says he has heard the cries of his constituents who took to the media on Tuesday to vent about the inconveniences and health concerns relating to plumes of dust and cement from ongoing roadworks. The MP says some short-term relief is on the way for the residents. Meanwhile, the Minister for Infrastructure, Stephenson King, has also addressed the matter.
Some relief is on the way. That's an assurance by the Rosalie MP Leonard Montoute in response to irate Grand Riviere residents who say they have had it with the dust and cement due to ongoing roadworks. The residents say the situation, which has been ongoing for some 4 weeks, has become unbearable. The communications officer in the Ministry of Infrastructure, Shannon LeBon, told Hot 7 TV News on Tuesday that the contractor, C.O. Williams, is working hard to expedite the process. The Rosalie MP, Leonard Montoute, is adding his voice to the matter with an assurance to his constituents that immediate steps will be taken to improve the situation.
Part of the arrangement was that the contractor had to use a water truck to keep the dust down. Obviously, I have seen them doing so, but obviously it has not been adequate with the little dry spells that we've had of late. Apparently, the watering was not adequate. However, to deal with that situation, they have indicated that they are about to seal the road right now, which would quell that problem, as well as getting rid of the issue of the gravel on the road. But as we go along, they have committed to ensuring, that commitment was made to the Ministry of Infrastructure. They have committed to ensuring that they do adequate wetting of the road to reduce the amount of dust that will affect commuters and residents in the area, as well as they will try to, minimize any inconvenience to the residents.
Infrastructure Minister Stephenson King has also released a written statement on the matter. It reads, quote, "Dust pollution associated with ongoing works on the Union Grand Riviere Corinth Road reconstruction project is only for a short period of time and is for the greater good. We were informed by the media that some residents of the White Rock area in Corinth are complaining about dust from the ongoing road project. My team would like to reassure those affected residents that the inconvenience experienced now is for the greater benefit later. Very soon, the project will be completed, improving the conditions of the road and general safety while increasing property value of residents." End quote. Montoute echoed similar sentiments.
I sympathize with the residents. I sympathize with the users of the road. However, I am sure they understand that it is a little inconvenience to bring about a better situation, to bring about the improvement that they themselves have clamored for. And so, sometimes it is said that nothing good comes without sacrifice, so it is another sacrifice they are asking that they make. However, we will ensure that everything is done to minimize the inconvenience that is caused to them.
The Grand Riviere residents during their previous interviews noted that their only concern is to get the health and environmental issues addressed. They rubbish claims that their complaints are in any way politically motivated.
Both the Pentecostal and Anglican churches have made their positions on cannabis clear. While the Pentecostal church is opposed to the decriminalization and legalization of cannabis, even writing to the Prime Minister and Cabinet of Ministers, urging them to reconsider the move to establish a framework for the cannabis industry, the Anglican Church is taking a more measured approach. Archdeacon Christian Glasgow says his concern is about the process and how well it is designed to avoid major pitfalls like health and social degradation.
What is going to be the aims and objectives of growing and decriminalizing cannabis here in St. Lucia? Is it going to be a commercial aspect? And if so, how are we going to ensure, first of all, that we produce the right grade? Secondly, that we can capture and hold a market so that whatever input we put into this project here that we get a fair return for it and do not end up, as history has shown us down through the ages, where we have been first producers of a number of agricultural crops and find ourselves literally holding the bag at the end of the day. Then we also need to ask what type of preparation is being made or will be made to deal with the possible fallout in terms of the antisocial behavior when there is abuse of cannabis. We are already struggling with the issue of crime and violence. Are we going to be adding fuel to fire? These are questions to be answered.
The Pentecostal Church, on the other hand, has stated firmly that legalization and commercialization of cannabis will not augur well for St. Lucia. According to the Pentecostal Church, there are better uses for the country's land resources, including the cultivation of more food crops. It argues that there are other medicinal options that can be considered besides cannabis. The church refers to cannabis as a dangerous substance and urges government to reconsider decriminalization and legalization. The statements have prompted reaction from the president of ICAR, Aaron Alexander.
Aaron Alexander, President, Inola Council for the Advancement of Rastafari. First of all, I want to say that the government did put in place a commission to look into the whole question of decriminalization or legalization of cannabis. And that commission went around the island, having consultations in all different communities. Where were those church leaders? There was a seat on the commission for religious leaders. None of them showed up. None of them was part of the conversation because they chose to stay out. So they did not come and engage the commission to question the commission and raise their concerns. They never did that. They stayed behind closed doors. They stayed in their closets. And the process went through. And the consultations happened. And the St. Lucian public spoke, and they spoke loud and clear. So when these religious leaders coming out now to say make this kind of statements, it's just a whole part and parcel of a whole hypocrisy pattern with these leaders.
The Ministry of Health is appealing to business owners to adhere to guidelines when selecting sanitary solutions to be used as hand sanitizers for their customers. This comes in the wake of reports from health workers who have noted an influx of patients reporting allergic reactions and even chemical burns after being sprayed by door attendants to gain access to various businesses. Jacques Wooding has more.
In the era of COVID-19, businesses on island are tasked with rigorously disinfecting high-contact areas and sanitizing the hands of customers and staff in compliance with health protocols. These measures are being strictly enforced at all businesses. However, a health educator in the Bureau of Health Education, Alison Isbert, disclosed that there have been reports of some businesses using unsanctioned chemical mixtures as hand sanitizer sprays. Isbert noted reports from individuals that they or their children have suffered severe reactions and even chemical burns after having their hands sanitized.
We have gotten the complaints of people who have developed different kinds of issues for having been sprayed whatever the solution is on their hands. And so it is something for the environmental health to follow up on that they will be doing. But we understand that some businesses have been mixing the solutions, maybe putting some kind of fragrant oil in there or what have you, and they're not supposed to. It is supposed to be strictly an alcohol-based solution, whether you're using something produced from, for example, distillers, or you're using a hand sanitizer that is already content certified.
Isbert says there are existing guidelines which have been provided to businesses to ensure the correct solution is used. She calls on business owners to acknowledge the adverse effects that exposure to makeshift sanitizers could have on their clientele.
If you are going to be including anything else in that, then you're taking the chance, as has been proven, of affecting somebody who has an allergy. And so we're imploring all businesses to be cognizant of what is being put in their bottles to follow the guidelines, because they're there and they've been given to them. So follow the guidelines for what is supposed to be in the solution and ensure not only that the solution is correct, but that they squirt enough onto the hands of persons coming into the business space.
She says that the Department of Health is currently investigating reports of strange or harsh concoctions being used as hand sanitizer sprays. Jacques Wooding, Hot 7 News.
You're watching the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. Still to come, the tourism minister says the industry is making steady recovery with 1,700 tourist arrivals to date. Protocols guiding ease restrictions within the travel bubble have been revised, and drivers are still kicking up a storm about COVID-19 protocols as they view events being hosted contrary to the rules. That and more coming up after the break.